I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, March the 4th, brought to you in part by Zero by Norbrook. Zero Poron kills 39 species of internal and external parasites. Contact your veterinarian or visit norbrook.com for more information. Packers are full. Well, that's what they've been preaching. We've been hearing that. Of course, we always hear that they're full. It's funny that they never need any cattle, but that's their business, is slaughtering cattle. But we know that they've had a lot of cattle in captive supply going through the end of the first quarter and into the second quarter, because that's when we were due to have the big boost in prices. So we know that they've been busy compiling cattle to deliver during that period. But just this week, and I get texts all the time, people saying, well, so-and-so packer doesn't need any cattle till the end of the month, till the very end of March, and I sold them cattle for the second week of April, and one guy even said, well, I was told that my packer doesn't need any cattle till this summer sometime. Well, why are they buying cattle on a Wednesday if they don't need any cattle? I've told you guys a jillion times, when they come out bidding and buying cattle in the first half of the week, it's because they need the cattle, guys. That's what they do, and they need the cattle. No matter how many they get committed or captivated, they still need cattle. Yet they use that ploy to buy cattle steady at 114 yet again. So now we're over a month selling cattle at 114 when we ought to be in the 120s somewhere. But very frustrating. They've got every ploy in the book. They're master negotiators, guys. That's what they do. That's the biggest effect on their bottom line, is what they can keep this cattle market at. And as long as they can keep their foot on the head of the cattle market, they're bound to have record profits, which is what they had all of last year, mostly due to the black swan pandemic and things. But we can't continue to fall for that yet again, and guys feeling lucky to be able to sell cattle to a packer at steady or lower prices. It's very, very frustrating. But what else is going on in the middle of the week? Lots of talk about the Cattle Market Transparency Act bill by Deb Fisher that was introduced into Senate earlier this week, and we feel like we've got a good chance to get that. It includes mandated minimum negotiated cash requirements. It includes a library of the sweetheart formulated deals that your corporate feeders and others are getting, where some of your smaller feedlots can get in there and look at those and kind of maybe negotiate or see what they could use to try to help them get a better deal, and also try to work through some of this confidentiality cloud that prevents us from getting a transparent market report. And a press release that was released on Wednesday by the NCBA, of all people, says that it welcomes discussion on the Cattle Market Transparency Act. And I know a lot of you that are members have been waiting for leadership from our nation's largest cattle association to lead them in the right direction. Well, they're welcoming discussion. So I encourage you guys to give them a call at the national office, or better yet, your state affiliates, especially Texas Cattle Feeders Association and Kansas Livestock Association, and tell them that you want to bring competition back to your fed cattle arena. So that would be great. You better yet, send them an email where they can document that, or you can document that and send it on up the line. But I tell you what, guys, we are losing our industry, and this could be a big tool in helping save it, this Cattle Market Transparency Act. And it's a doable deal, guys. I've been told by a lot of insiders, we can get this. It's not a pie in the sky deal. We can get this. Yes, there's going to be a lot of blowback from your corporate feeders and from your packers saying that, you can no longer get value-based marketing, and they're going to, whenever we do establish the percentages, they're going to say, well, why would you want to limit yourself? It's not a limit on these minimum mandated percentages of negotiated trade. That is a basement. That's a floor. That's a minimum they can do. I tell you what, it could bring fat cattle auctions back to life. We've still got them in the Midwest and the Northern Plains. Maybe we could get some fat cattle auctions, because your packers would have to go somewhere where they could have negotiated trade. So an online auction, sealed bid type deal like they have with the Texas and Kansas pools, and a brick and mortar sale, that would be negotiated. So I know we don't have any fat cattle auctions down in the Southern Plains, but I know some places that would sure enough start one. One of them is west of Amarillo there in El Dorado, Texas, and I know the new manager, Bill Martin, they built that thing. That thing, you can handle buffalo and rhinoceroses in it, so they would have no problem handling fat cattle in that auction, and probably be more than happy to start having a fat cattle auction there on a regular basis if they thought they could get packers to come in there and bid on the cattle. But let's talk about what all happened on Wednesday. Your board April live cattle futures down just 2 cents at 119.40. June down 7 cents, which is nothing, basically steady on your nearbys at 117.67. You're going out from there, and they were up 10 cents on your next out, and then they went up a bunch. It was all over $1 going out into your back months, up to $1.02 higher. So that's encouraging that we're seeing that. March feeder cattle up 47 cents at $137 even. April up 82 cents at 141.30, and your back months of feeder cattle were all sharply higher, from $1 higher to $1.97 higher, and that's a good deal, because our corn backed off a little bit, beans not quite so much, but it's mostly corn when you're talking about feed prices. And March corn was down 10.5 on Wednesday. Beans were down 3.25. Your fat cattle trade did develop on Wednesday, even though your packers don't need any cattle. They're all full up, but they're buying cattle in a negotiated basis, open market, for delivery within 14 days, but they don't need any cattle. But we see some confirmed sales. Iowa 3,900 on Wednesday. Had a few live sales from 110 to 113, but mostly dress sales from 179 to 180. And that's pretty much steady. Nebraska, 10,000 head on Wednesday confirmed, and their live prices were 112 to 114, which is basically steady. 179 to 180.50, which would be a little bit lower because we did have significant 182 last week. Kansas, 12,000 head, all at 114, and a few dress sales at 180, so we can't get off this 114. Texas, 8,700 head. They had as many sales on Wednesday nearly as they had all of last week. So 8,700 head, 114, 114.25 on some online sales there. A little bit of competition helps every time, guys. Just think if we could have it on a regular basis. But your packers are full. They can't stand any more cattle. Talk about your box beef cutout values, lower again, and it's just very head scratching how they were able to inflate those wholesale beef prices through February, which is traditionally your most downer month, and now that we're getting into March, they can't hold it anymore, and they're falling dramatically. Choice cuts on Wednesday afternoon, 233.03, down $1.65. Selects 224.24, down $1.93. Your slaughter has been pretty encouraging. We're back up to speed there. 364,000 through Wednesday. That's 2,000 more than last week, 5,000 less than the same week a year ago. As we go forward, guys, the next several weeks are going to be hard not to look very bullish, because we were getting into the full-on pandemic a year ago this time. And you remember we weren't able to keep our plants going full speed. So when we start having normal kills compared to a year ago, yes, if we look into it, it's not really a big bullish. But when you're looking at it, when outsiders that play your futures and stuff are looking at it, it's going to look very, very bullish to them. What else is going on? Here in Gainesville, Texas, coming to you on this report. I was in town videoing cattle for Lone Star Angus production sale, which is going to be coming up March the 25th. Mr. Rodney Howell, good guy, is going to have a really nice little production sale for you there at the Cook County Fairgrounds coming up on March the 25th. My buddy Kevin Harrison helps him, and we were able to have dinner on Wednesday night and enjoy visiting with him. He's really a good guy. What else is going on? I want to talk to you a little bit about Enid Livestock Market, Enid, Oklahoma. Dakota Davis has resurrected the mausoleum west of Enid. It was a fantastic facility when it was built 30 years ago. It's still a very impressive facility. Nobody has ever been able to make it work like Dakota Davis has. He's leased that facility in recent years, and coming down from Caldwell, Kansas there. But I tell you what, Dakota Davis is a top-notch young auctioneer, and he hustles in the country. That's what it took, evidently. He's going to have a big sale on Thursday here today. And he has signed on with DV Auction to take online bids for the first time ever in that Enid livestock market facility there. He's got 5,000 head of cattle coming into Enid livestock market, guys. That's very, very impressive. I can't tell you how impressive that is. 5,000 head in Enid, Oklahoma at the sale barn, starting at 10:30 in the morning. He's going to start selling those cattle. He's got about 600 calves is all. Not a lot of calves moving right now because nobody fall calves. But 600 calves selling, including one straight pot load of 5-weight stockers he's going to be selling. And then over 4,000 head of feeder cattle coming through the ring at Enid Livestock Market. And then he's going to stop at noon and have the first ever CLM video marketing sale through DV Auction. And he's got about 1,000 head, or right at 1,000 head of load lots to sell on video there. Going to sell those at noon, then when he gets through, crank right back up with his brick and mortar sale through the ring there. But on that video sale, those 1,000 head, I don't know how many, he had 13 to 15 loads of those cattle there. And they're all local cattle, and they're going to ship within 10 miles of the sale barn. In fact, one deal is going to come into the sale barn to weigh up because they don't have a whole lot of facilities there. But all those cattle coming off wheat, and they're going to be good feeding cattle. So get on dvauction.com and get on, view and bid Enid Livestock Market and the first ever CLM video marketing sale there. And we're real excited about that. I tell you what, I got my partner in crime with DV Auction, Dusty Markham. He's there on site because he installed the broadcasting equipment on Wednesday there. Going to be on site Thursday to take your bids and do some training to the local people. But you can get on there and bid. You'll know when you're in. You'll know when you're out. Bidding on DV Auction there on some top-notch feeder cattle there at Enid, Oklahoma. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV Auction. Late in the day on Wednesday at 134.95, down $1.07, and it's just been tumbling ever since we've got our receipts back since the cold snap. And those index levels on the average in a big chunk through the middle 12 states of the United States, they just can't hold up when you get a lot of volume, especially when you get a lot of it in the southern plains. But look at your big sales on Wednesday. OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, 13,700 head. Wow. Big sales this week after we got back to speed. We had that downer week when it was so cold. Took another week to kind of get up to speed, and now we are dumping cattle, and it's affecting the market. Feeder steers steady to weak. Feeder heifers $1 to $4 lower in El Reno, but steer calves $3 to $5 higher. Heifer calves sharply higher in El Reno, Oklahoma. How about winter livestock? Dodge City, Kansas, 3,300 head there on offer. Feeder steers over 700 pounds or $1 to $2 lower. Middleweight feeders 600 to 700 pounds, $2 higher. Steer calves steady to $2 lower, and that's pretty curious. How about heifers under 800 pounds, $2 to $4 lower, but big heifers weighing over 8 were steady. The peewee calves, both steers, heifers, and bulls, all of those weighing in the threes, were $3 to $5 higher, and that's understandable because there's just not any of them out there. How about some individual quotes around the circuit? Springfield Livestock Marketing Center, Springfield, Missouri. You can view and bid all their sales on DV Auction. They had 92 head, 518-pound steers, bring $179.50 through the ring in Springfield. Pretty good quote. Torrington Livestock Markets, 74 head, 607-pound steer calves bring $170 even. Torrington Livestock Markets. How about a market we don't talk about that's kind of off the grid? North Arkansas Livestock from Green Forest, Arkansas. 98 head, 596-pound steers there at Green Forest, Arkansas. That's right at 600 pounds in Arkansas at $163.35. You think they sell them all one at a time? Not necessarily, and not in Green Forest. But your best quote that I saw anywhere, considering where it's at and the weights and everything that go with, but your best quote that I saw anywhere, and your Zach Tran top quote from the day, come from Jared Herman's sale barn there, Cherokee, Oklahoma. Cherokee Sales Company, 63 head, 1,028-pound steers bring $123. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.